Hello and welcome to Creative Foundations. Every week we'll be exploring a new art technique that is foundational for mixed media projects. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss out on any of these foundational videos. So let's get started on this week's project. So in this lesson I want to show you how to use your watercolor paints, or watercolor paper, and a brush to create some very simple watercolor backgrounds that you can be using in your journals and in your cards or any other sort of creative outlet that you want. So to start with, you want to make sure that you actually have 2 buckets of water. Mine are actually a little bit off camera just so that they are out of the way and you can see better what I'm doing. But I have 2 buckets of water, one for actually cleaning my brush and the other one for dipping in to add more watercolor to my paint. The first thing I need to do is go in and wet a lot of my paints. A lot of people will do this with a brush, and that's okay, but I'm a little impatient, so pipette is your friend, or that, or a particularly good water bottle, just to be able to add some water to the paint. You only need to add a little bit at this point. You just want to get it wet and get it activating, but this can take a little bit of time. So instead of going and doing this one by one and driving myself crazy, I am doing them with a pipette to try to speed up the process. So I actually found this 90-pound watercolor paper at my local art store. I think I got a sheaf of them for about $10. So it was actually really quite reasonable, and allows me to have stuff that I'm willing to cut up for cards and other things where I don't have to think about having to either charge a lot for the card or be able to be concerned about not spending too much on surfaces to be able to enjoy it. So again, it's not the most robust. If you're doing a more serious watercolor project, I would say get a heavier paper, but for cards and for little projects and demonstrations like that, it's great. You want to wet down the background first, because you do want to get some this is called a wet on wet technique, so you want to make sure that you're getting the paper nice and wet to start off with. You come in with some watercolor paint. You'll notice as you start blending the colors, they will start to bloom a little bit into the color before. That purple is that red is pretty intense, so it's one of those things. It's a different brand than my other Cotman watercolors, so it seems to take over a bit more, so sometimes you have to add a bit more of the other paint to make sure you don't lose all the purple that you're looking for. So in this sample, we're doing another wet and wet technique, so adding water to the watercolor paper and starting with some red paint. You'll notice that with the water on the surface of the paper, you're getting that wonderful blooming effect in watercolor, which is really desirable in this particular technique. You also want to add in some yellow paint. Mixing with the red, you get some really interesting orange colors. And now that we're adding in some purple, you're starting to get some of the purple and the red mixing, and you get more of that burgundy tone. Again, it's understanding how colors work in the color wheel. For example, adding the turquoise makes to the yellow, by the yellow makes the green, and the cerulean near the purple adds a more deeper blue shade. So this is really great abstract looking watercolor background as well too. It is really useful when you're trying to understand how colors work together on the color wheel. By trying to mix some of these colors that may not always work together, you can see kind of how far you can push things and get the results that you're looking for. You can tell that as I've been working, some of the areas are not blooming as much. That's because the watercolor paper has dried out a little bit as I've gone on. I started with a little bit too dry of paper. So what you can do is add in some clean water to be able to to clean up that surface to be able to blend things a bit more. And you'll notice the red being a little more opaque watercolor, a little bit more intense watercolor. It is kind of overtaken the green a little bit, which prevents it from being too muddy. So now that these have dried, we can see the finished products. So we have, you'll notice that some of these have bled more, that they've melded a little bit more than planned. Some of them are also lighter than what they originally looked like when you first put down the paint. And that's the thing with the watercolor paint, is it often dries lighter than what it originally looks like. So again, we have a few nice, really abstract ones. This one could be some sort of like cloud background. This is the really nice gradation. One thing you'll notice, if there's a little bit too much water, you get these lines along the side. You can either cut those off. The other thing you can do is tape your paper down if you want a nice border. As well too, you can just kind of leave it as is. It depends on how much you really care. And these ones are all supposed to be a little bit more of similar backgrounds, but you can even see that as they've dried, they have all changed slightly, even though I did them all fairly similarly in style. So you'll notice with this one, again, you have the border that bled really badly. So it's something to watch for, to make sure you don't use too much paint, you don't go too close to the sides, just because if you do, then you get results like this. So I do want to leave you with a finished project. And so I'm going to do a quick stamp. So this is something that you could easily do on a card to have something that you could use or give away or use in your art journal or whatever your needs are. So I have a set of Wildflower Stampers Anonymous stamps that I really like using. The one I've chosen this particular image, and I'm going to use some Ranger Archival Jet Black ink to make these into cards that I will give away. So to start with, we want to put our ink pad upside down. Make sure we transfer a lot of really good ink onto this image. And you'll notice that just with the way the watercolor paper is, there is some spaces in there. You can just use some watercolor ink and fill that on in if you want, or just leave it as is. It kind of depends on your personal preference. I like having multiple images, so I'm going to stamp again. You could leave it as an individual flower, or you can have a group of flowers, which I kind of like having a group of flowers. So here's the completed project. You could easily put a card back on this and give this away as a greeting card. This could also be a nice addition to your art journal. I hope this is giving you some more confidence to work with watercolor paint, and that you'll be making more of your own backgrounds in the next week. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and provide a comment below. I hope that you have a great week, and I will see you next time.